Once upon a time, in the heart of the Ashanti region of Ghana, there lay a small village cradled by rolling green hills and dense forests teeming with life. The village was a tapestry of vibrant culture, where the air hummed with the rhythmic beats of djembe drums during festivals, and the markets dazzled with colorful kente cloths woven with intricate patterns that told stories of ancestors and heroes. The villagers were farmers, coaxing yams, maize, and cassava from the rich earth, living in harmony with the spirits of the land. They gathered under the ancient baobab tree to share tales, honor their traditions, and seek wisdom from their elders. In this village lived a young boy named Kwame, an orphan whose parents had been claimed by a fierce fever when he was just 7 years old. His father, Kofi, had been a revered herbalist, known for crafting remedies from the forest's bounty: mint for fevers, aloe for burns, and ginger to warm the soul. His mother, Adwoa, was a weaver whose kente cloths were so beautiful they were said to capture the colors of the sunset. After their passing, Kwame was taken in by his father's brother, Uncle Kwadwo, who owned a sprawling farm on the village's edge, where rows of yams stretched under the sun. But Uncle Kwadwo was not a kind man. To him, Kwame was a burden, an extra mouth to feed in a household already stretched thin. From the moment Kwame arrived, he was put to work. Each dawn, before the roosters crowed, he was in the fields, hoeing the stubborn earth to plant yams. His hands grew calloused, his back ached, and sweat stung his eyes, but he never uttered a complaint. By midday, he trekked to the river, balancing heavy buckets of water on his shoulders. Evenings found him scrubbing the mud-caked floors of Uncle Kwadwo's house or stirring a pot of thin porridge, often with nothing but scraps to eat. Kwame's cousin Ama lived a starkly different life. She was Uncle Kwadwo's pride, draped in fine kente cloths adorned with beads that sparkled in the sunlight. While Kwame toiled, Ama lounged under the baobab tree, giggling with friends or practicing dance steps for the village festivals. Her wardrobe overflowed with dresses, each more vibrant than the last, while Kwame's clothes were threadbare, patched rags that barely covered his knees. When Ama feasted on fufu and goat stew, Kwame went to bed with a growling stomach, his hunger a constant companion. Yet despite his hardships, Kwame's heart remained gentle. He shared his meager meals with the village dogs, their grateful eyes following him as he passed. When an elderly neighbor, Mama Abena, struggled to carry firewood, Kwame would hoist the bundle onto his back without a word. The villagers noticed his kindness, whispering among themselves about the boy who bore his suffering with grace, a rare light in a world that often dimmed such spirits. One sweltering afternoon, as Kwame labored in the yam field, the sun beating down like a drum, Uncle Kwadwo summoned him to the shade of the ancient baobab tree. Its gnarled branches stretched wide, offering a cool haven. Uncle Kwadwo sat on a low stool, fanning himself with a palm leaf, a sly grin curling his lips. His eyes gleamed with a greed that Kwame had come to recognize. "Kwame," he said, his voice laced with false warmth, "I have found you a wife." Kwame's heart lurched. Marriage? He was only 17, his dreams filled with visions of learning to read, write, and perhaps follow his father's path as an herbalist. The thought of marriage was as foreign as the stars above. "A wife, Uncle?" Kwame asked, his voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. "I am too young, and I have no means to care for a family." Uncle Kwadwo's laugh was harsh, cutting through the air like a machete. "You think you have a choice? This is not for you, it's for me. The woman is old, her face wrinkled like a dried yam. She lives alone in the forest, shunned by all. But she has offered me a bag of gold coins to take you as her husband. You will go, and that is final." Tears welled in Kwame's eyes, but he knew resistance was futile. Uncle Kwadwo's temper was a storm that left bruises in its wake. That night, as Kwame lay on his thin mat in the corner of the hut, the darkness pressing against him, he whispered, "Is this my fate? To be sold like a goat to a stranger?" He thought of his parents, their gentle smiles, and wondered if they could see his sorrow from the spirit world. The next morning, Kwame set out with a small bundle of his belongings, a tattered cloth, a wooden comb his mother had carved, and a single bead from his father's herbalist pouch. The forest path wound through towering trees, their leaves whispering secrets in the breeze. Birds sang, and the scent of damp earth filled the air. But Kwame's heart was heavy. He imagined the life awaiting him, a future of servitude to an old woman, his dreams of learning buried beneath the weight of duty. After hours of walking, he reached a small clearing. A humble hut of mud and thatch stood at its center, surrounded by a garden of wilting vegetables. An old woman sat on a low stool, her face hidden behind a thick cloth mask, her hands gnarled like ancient roots. Her wrapper was simple, yet Kwame noticed it was woven from fine kente cloth, its patterns telling tales of Ashanti kings and queens. It seemed out of place for someone so poor, but Kwame dismissed the thought. "You must be Kwame," she said, her voice raspy yet steady. "I am your wife, as your uncle has arranged." Kwame bowed, his heart sinking. "Yes, madam. I am here to serve you." The woman nodded and led him inside. The hut was sparse, with a small cooking fire and a few mats for sleeping. No decorations adorned the walls, no signs of wealth or comfort. "You will help with my farm," she said. "I grow herbs and spices for the market. My eyes are weak, and I need your hands and feet." Kwame set to work, tending the garden, pulling weeds, and watering the plants. The woman, though stern, was not cruel. She taught him the secrets of her herbs: mint to soothe fevers, ginger to warm the body, aloe vera to heal burns. Her words were often laced with wisdom. "The world judges by what it sees," she said one evening, "but true sight comes from the heart." Weeks passed, and Kwame noticed peculiarities. Villagers visited the hut, not just for herbs, but for advice. They called her Wise One, bowing with respect. A fisherman left a basket of tilapia at the door. A weaver brought a bolt of cloth. Kwame wondered why such a humble woman commanded such reverence, but held his tongue, his years of silence under Uncle Kwadwo's roof teaching him caution. One evening, as they sat by the fire, the woman asked, "Do you know the story of Anansi the spider?" Kwame shook his head. "I've heard his name, madam, but not his tales." She smiled beneath her mask. "Anansi is a trickster, a spider who weaves clever plans. Long ago, all stories belonged to Nyame, the sky god. Anansi wanted them, so Nyame set 4 tasks: capture the python, the fairy, the hornets, and the leopard. With his wit, Anansi succeeded, and Nyame gave him the stories, which is why we share them today." Kwame listened, enthralled. "Is Anansi a hero, then?" "He is both hero and villain," she replied, her voice warm. "He teaches us that cleverness and kindness can overcome any challenge." Kwame pondered her words, wondering if he could find such strength within himself. The next day, a villager arrived, feverish and weak. Kwame, using the woman's teachings, prepared a mint tea that eased the man's suffering. The villager's gratitude warmed Kwame's heart, a rare moment of pride in his toil. One night, as Kwame stoked the fire, the woman removed her mask. He gasped. Beneath was not an old face, but the strong, handsome features of a man in his prime, his eyes sharp and kind, his smile radiant. "Who are you?" Kwame stammered, his heart pounding. "I am Nana Kwame, chief of this village," the man said. "I wore this kente wrapper and mask to honor my heritage while testing hearts. Your uncle thought he was condemning you to hardship, but I chose you for your kindness. You never complained, never stole, and treated me with respect, believing I was poor and helpless." Kwame's knees trembled. "Why me?" he whispered. "You are pure of heart," Nana Kwame said. "Many chase wealth, but few seek goodness. I watched you share your last bread with a hungry child, carry water for Mama Abena, and endure your uncle's cruelty without bitterness. That is why I chose you." From that day, Kwame lived as Nana Kwame's adopted son. The chief's house was a marvel, with carved wooden pillars and murals of Ashanti history. Kwame was given fine kente clothes, hearty meals, and a room overlooking the village. The chief sent him to school in Kumasi, where he learned to read, write, and study his people's history. His first day, holding a book, he felt his parents' spirits smiling. The village buzzed with news of Kwame's rise. Uncle Kwadwo and Ama were stunned. Ama, consumed by jealousy, urged her father to seek forgiveness, as villagers mocked them, calling Kwadwo the man who sold his nephew to royalty. At the chief's house, Kwame welcomed them warmly. "Uncle, cousin, join us for a feast," he said, his voice gentle. Kwadwo's face was heavy with shame. "Kwame, I was cruel, driven by greed. I don't deserve your kindness." Ama, tears in her eyes, added, "I mocked you, Kwame. I was wrong." Kwame smiled. "The past is gone. Kindness is its own reward. I forgive you." He handed Kwadwo a sack of coins. "For your farm, and to learn a kind heart." Kwadwo and Ama left, humbled. They began treating others with kindness, their hearts changed by Kwame's mercy. The story of Kwame and the masked chief spread, told around village fires, teaching that appearances deceive and kindness shines brightest. Moral of the story: true wealth lies in the heart, not possessions. Kindness and forgiveness are the greatest gifts.